So January 20th, 2021. What am I saying 2024? 2021. And so this is our last call until I come back from maternity leave at the mid-May. So after the next call will be on May 20 something, after the next certification class. I'll tell you the exact date so everyone can take note. May 26th will be our next coaches support group. And so what I would like you to do is to tell us your name, where you are physically, what type of coaching you do or hope to do, one win, either personal or professional, as it relates to coaching. I'm going to do a review of the Wheel of Personal Perspective today after everyone gets a chance to share. And then at the end, I would love for you to share 1 to 3 goals that you're working on, and then to share your contact information so that we can support each other in that goal, in those goals. The other thing I want to remind you of is I sent out an email. My assistant Laura sent out an email asking if there is anything that you're doing, any programs or anything that you want to promote that we can share with the other coaches. And I can also share with my email list. Please respond back to that email so that, we can get the word out about your programs or, whatever workshop or you have going on. Welcome to live.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can see the chat, but I posted on there. Probably not because you just joined. So I'm going to repaste what we're doing. So who would like to share first? Just say number 1. If you want to go second, just say number 2. Amanda. Rita.
Whatever number.
I'll go last.
You'll go last, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the newbie.
Okay, that's cool. You can go last. Do you want us to call you Dee or you want us to call you Debbie?
Oh, Debbie, please. If
Okay.
you want to change my name, you could go ahead and rename it to Debbie so that everyone will.
I wish I knew how to do that.
Oh, okay.
I think you can do it yourself. If you just right click on your picture, it comes up with a rename option.
Yeah, I can. It's just that I'm using my iPad and I really don't zoom on it. So I have to figure how to get this, to get into the participants.
And then Suzanne, will you go third?
Third, okay.
Okay, cool. All right, Amanda, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Okay.
So my name is Amanda Hem. I am physically in my bedroom in Maynard, where I feel like I've been for the last 9 months of just sitting in this spot. I am a new parent success coach. So I work with expectant and new parents who want to feel less overwhelmed, less anxious, and really enjoy their this time of life with their new baby. So the win that I've had recently is that I have joined the team of experts on a Facebook group that's called Doc and Doula. And there's about 2,200 members of the group, all of whom are either expectant or new parents or professionals that kind of work in the area. And so that means that every Friday I have to do a live. And it's challenging me because lives are really not my jam. I'm just learning how to do them and get comfortable in front of the camera. But it's also making me create, think of content every week to develop and to share, which I'm then able to turn into a blog, which will go into a newsletter, which, just kind of multiplies. And I've had some really good reactions to some of the videos and some of the tools that I have shared. So I'm excited about that. And then at the end, you said to share 1 to 3 goals. Is that the end of this or at the end of the whole group?
At the end of the whole group.
Okay, then that's it. That's where I am right now.
Awesome, thank you. I turned off my camera because I had to have a bite of something. I didn't want to eat in front of all of y'all. Thank you, Amanda. That's awesome. Welcome, Dr. Jackman. Charmaine, welcome. I'm going to post here how we're introducing ourselves on the chat, just so you know. And then Debbie, since you want to go last, Charmaine, you're going to be the 5th person.
I can't, I have a 6:30, but I wanted to just come say hi at least. So it's okay if I
Okay.
don't go. I've been watching the videos, so I feel like I know everybody's stories. So I just wanted to connect. I know this is the last one for a little bit, so.
Yeah. Let me ask, does somebody want to yield their spot so that Charmaine can go? Before 6:30. Rita, do you want to, would you be willing to do that?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And welcome, Stephanie. Charmaine, you want to go ahead and tell us who you are, where you are physically, what kind of coaching you do, or you hope to do, one win that you've had recently. And then since you can't stay until the end, tell us like maybe 1 or 3 goals that you're working on this year, and maybe leave your website on the chat so people know how to reach you, or your email. You're muted, honey.
Sorry, I'm Charmaine Jackman. And it's been wonderful to hear Rita's story, and Suzanne, I feel like I know all your stories. I've been talking to you guys, you just don't know it. But let me look at the prompts again. So I am in Watertown, so the Boston area. And what type of coaching I'm doing? So I'm trying to still figure that out. I'm working with a group of therapists, and they're in the process of launching their own therapy practices. So I actually launched my course January 9th, which was amazing. I kept putting it off and putting it off. It's something I used to do in person, and I wanted to do it virtually even before COVID happened. And then COVID's like, okay, you got to do it. And so I've been trying to do it, all of 2020, and finally it's like, let me just set the date and I'll just get the stuff going. So I did that. We are this Thursday will be our 3rd course. We have 1 more session, and then I have 2 group coaching sessions, one in February and one in March. So I'd love to use the coaching models for that, to help build that. I would love to, I actually had started to advertise, but I'd love to reach out to Clara at some point just to think about how to advertise that more, or kind of connect people into the group counseling, and also how to talk about how to kind of sell that group counseling now that we're going to be transitioning out of the course. So those are some of my questions.
So one thing, Charmaine, before you came, that I asked everyone, an email went out to everyone from my assistant asking if there was anything that you're promoting, or any programs that we can share with the rest of the group, or I can share with my email list. As I'm on maternity leave, I'm happy to gather those up and then share with everybody else. Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, that's a major win. Like, set that date and get it going, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Thank
yeah,
you.
so goal would be to, I do have the date set for the group coaching sessions. So to be able to think of a framework that I want to use for those, because they'll be coming up really soon, out of the models that we've talked about.
Yeah, I mean, just you can shoot me a quick email. I'm happy to answer any questions for you.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
You're
Rita,
welcome.
for yielding your spot. I appreciate it.
Rita, go right ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rita Fucillo, and I am sitting in my kitchen in Cohasset, Massachusetts. I am launching in the process of launching a coaching practice, and sort of have a lot of balls up in the air right now in terms of making it happen. I'm still stumbling over naming issues, and literally everything I look up is taken not just by another company that is using my cute little, or what I think is a cute little name, but they seem to be actual practices or entities that teach coaching. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know why I'm hung up on the name thing, but I would prefer there to be a name other than mine. So that hasn't been checked off the list yet, but one win that of my and my practice will center around artists and working with those in the adoption triad. So on that note, I drafted a pitch letter, a service letter. These are my services to the Mass Adoption Resource Exchange, and it's almost where I want it to be. But so my personal goal is to have that just out to them next week. It's a site that's really beautiful and really powerful, and the kids there are just gorgeous. So, so I'm very inspired each time I go to that site. The other little win is my pod for positive intelligence is with Shrep and Zulai, and I'm really excited to get started with that. So really looking forward to that.
That's awesome. So drafting that letter, so what's the next step to that, right? Because it's like, we can just be in development for a really long time.
Yeah. Well, my life is kind of deadline oriented because of my day job. So I am pretty good at self-management and knowing when something is written and done and you can't do anything more to it and you just have to let it go, come what may. I'm pretty confident with my words, and I wish I had a name for what I'm calling myself, but I don't know why I think that adds legitimacy, but maybe I am just hung up on that in my head. But I am gonna, by this time next week, that letter will already be, be out there to the powers that be at Mayor.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That's major. Suzanne.
Hello, I'm sitting here in Boston looking over the Zakim Bridge tonight. It's very beautiful. And my coaching practice is evolved from what I've done for the last 13 years, and that's working with artists, visual artists, on how to promote their art and build their career. So that's where I am with that.
And a recent win that you've had?
It didn't feel like such a winning week, but I think if I have to really dig down, I would say I was really dreading a call with a client today, and I think that we had a very successful phone call, and I think I really reached down deep inside myself to do the coaching as opposed to the consulting, which has been a big problem for me, and I found myself using more of that Socratic questioning instead of telling them what they need to do. So even though it didn't feel like a big win, I think it was a big win.
Wonderful.
And he said, I always feel really good after our calls. And that made me feel really good, because sometimes I feel a little bit like an imposter.
Well, there
Does
you
that
go.
make any sense?
It makes perfect sense. You're working on mastering your coaching skill, going from consulting to coaching. And here's this client giving you affirmation, saying,
Yeah.
I feel really good. What else could you ask for? I feel
Yeah,
really good
I
after
guess
our
it
call.
was a big deal. I just want my clients to feel like they're getting what they're paying for. And I think we all suffer at some points from that imposter syndrome. And so how do I morph into this new role? So I guess it didn't seem like a big win, but now that you're asking me, I think it was a big win.
Yeah, you're building completely new muscles here, Suzanne. So it's like the more you can do that, how do you overcome imposter syndrome, right? Which is sometimes it's like lack of confidence, because we're trying something new, is by continuing to do it each and every day as much as possible, improving yourself, proving that imposter syndrome wrong. And so it sounds like that's what you're doing.
Yes, it's been difficult making the transition, even though I didn't think it was hard, because it's kind of the same thing, but it's so different. It's so different. I thought it was the same, but it's not. So yes, I'm building those new muscles.
There you go. There you go. Make sure you're capturing those testimonials.
You're right.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here and thank you for sharing, because I'm sure we can all identify with some aspect of what you're experiencing.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to articulate it instead of keeping it in, because once you free it, it allows you to actually face it and realize everybody feels that way. I'm sure Joe Biden's feeling that tonight, like, oh my God, how am I going to do this?
Right. And Kamala, she's like, what?
I know.
I've never been vice president before.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, it doesn't matter how high you get in life. We all feel sometimes a little bit a lack of confidence that we can bring it.
Right, which we can always reframe with, oh, I'm doing this. This is new for me. I'm learning.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
We can always learn, and the more we learn, the better we get at what we're doing. And, and if you keep getting these affirmative comments from your clients, even better. And if you don't get affirmative affirmative statements, you can always think like, okay, so how could I have served you better? And, at the end of every coaching agreement, I always ask my clients, did you get what you came for? And they're always like, I got more than what, but I always ask that question very humbly, because I want to be able to, for the next person, be able to deliver, or to be able to reverse engineer what I did to make sure that I'm delivering what you came for and more.
Yeah, that's really important to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, Suzanne. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sulai.
Hello, ladies. Wait, let me put you so you can see me. Hi.
Hello.
So my name is Sulai Garcia, and I run Garcia Productions, Mind, Body, and Soul. And I will love to do group coaching, and I haven't started yet. So my goal is to finish my website this month and start promoting my workshop and identify potential clients that I can start working with.
Wonderful. What's one win, recent win that you've had, either personal or professional as it relates to coaching?
I think that definitely putting the content on my website together, because I finally was able to finish that last night. And I've been like procrastinating on what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? So I did like the entire schedule. How am I going to do it? When am I going to do it? So I'm excited to see it come to life. So the schedule is made. So now we just need to execute it. So I also started editing. For some of you that don't know, I'm a filmmaker. So I'm very picky. So I did my commercial. I'm working on it. I'll share it with you guys once it's done. And it's coming out pretty good. My sister was like, "Oh, I want to work with her."
Oh, yeah.
Good. And it's me, But yeah, so I try to make the commercial very genuine and fun, so people will like to join my workshop.
Sulai has produced a few of commercials for me over the years, and they've always been so good. I can only imagine how meticulous you must be because it's your stuff. My mind was, I'm just like, oh God, help her.
Yes. So I'm also a Reiki master. So my son, he's learning how to do music production. So basically what he's doing is he's creating music for me. So we just finished making like our first song that we're going to use for the Reiki healing when I have my workshop. So he did so good. I love it. It's
Oh
wonderful.
my God, how exciting. So,
Yeah, so my
before
son is going
you-
to be working with me. Mhm.
Before you hopped on, I don't know if you heard me say that there's an email that went out from my assistant. If you have anything, like once you have your stuff together, you want us to share, the website, your program with the group or with my email list as I go on maternity leave. We want to gather that up and we want to share it, with my email list and with the rest of the coaches as well.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
so
would.
once you have that ready.
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Sulai. Next we have welcome Shonda. Stephanie's going to introduce herself and share her wins, and then it will be you, Shonda, and then Debbie. We have Debbie, and she wants to be last. So, Debbie, I just keep moving you down.
You know what? It's okay. I will jump in. It doesn't matter anymore. I'll jump in whenever.
Okay. Stephanie, you want to go next?
Sure, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Bonilla. Where am I? I'm currently in Boston, Massachusetts. What type of coaching I want to do? Okay, so first off, I think I've actually decided I really want to do coaching. Like that's a legit decision. I think I've been on the fence for like multiple weeks, or months, or lifetimes maybe.
Stephanie, you already do coaching.
I don't know. I mean, yes, I manage a legal team, but I don't know if it qualifies as coaching, but honestly, that's the other part. I realized that like if I really want to do coaching, which is something that I want to do because I feel like you go deeper than what I go with my staff, I need to legit set boundaries with my job, which is something that I'm working on, because there's no way I'm going to be able to do coaching if I'm like right now it's 6:30 and I'm still at the office. So that's the first thing I need to do. But I definitely want to do coaching, and I found my niche. I know what it is now. I want to target undergraduate Latina and Black women for coaching specifically because I want to get them before they even think about going to law school. Because realistically, I think a lot of people go into law school not really knowing what is ahead of them. And had I known what law school is about, I probably wouldn't have done it. But thank God I didn't know because I did do it and I'm okay. But I survived, thankfully. But yeah, I think that's my focus. Women, specifically women, Black, Latina women who need that career coaching, and in an access to like sources. And I think that I figured out, the other thing I really figured out is, yes, I want to do it as a private business, but I honestly want to start it as a partnership with different schools. So I want to try and pitch it to, like, for example, I know BU recently just got a grant specifically for their diversity in their undergraduate stuff. And they got like $5 million. So I want to apply to them and be like, okay, put your money where your mouth is. You want to do diversity. Guess what some access to like real access and action looks like for our POC women. It looks like coaching, and you have the money, so pay for it.
Yes, I love it. I love
So
it.
I've gotten that far. I think that's my success, that I know exactly how I want to do it and how I want to target it, because although I am intrigued by doing the one-on-one coaching, I want to meet, this is more of a mission passion project for me, and I want to meet people where they're at. And I think where they're at for me is this undergrad institution. And I think it's really hard to get an undergraduate student to pay for coaching. So I'm just going to get the schools to pay for it. Right? Like, I mean, this is all in my head. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll see. And yeah, so I think my goal for at least these 30 days, Alba, who was on the last session, was so awesome to reach out to me, and we've been texting back and forth. So I think in the next 30 days, I'm probably going to be tapping into a few of you, given that I see your emails and Clara's emails, and just emailing you guys for your thoughts and suggestions, because now that I know what I want to do, the next step is to really formalize like a website and a proposal, And if possible, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it, because I think this could be a really powerful tool. And honestly, I know from before, Dr. Jermaine was on, and I definitely want to pick her brain because I feel like that would also be an interesting like collaboration that we could do. Because some group coaching / some group psychological stuff with therapists that to create that access sounds like something really cool that we could talk about. So my
Yeah.
goals for the next certain days would be to touch base with more than a couple of you to kind of see how you guys figured out how to do a website, because I still don't know how to do that. And kind of what paperwork you guys did to start establishing it, because at this point I'm completely in the dark with that. So I'll start messaging and texting you guys and be that annoying little person around you. So sorry.
No apologies needed. That's wonderful. I love that you have found a niche. I mean, not only did you do that, but you're like identifying funding sources. You know me, I believe that anything is possible. So as you're saying that, I'm like, duh, yes, like perfect. I'm so excited for you. So excited. Thank you for being here, Stephanie. Shonda, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Hi everyone. Happy Inauguration Day. I feel like today is like an entire exhale, right? Like the entire day is just like a
I agree.
oh man, what happened? Like 4 years? What? I feel like we should have like the next 2 weeks off just to come out of shock. Like just to calm down, to decrease the size of our like overly charged amygdalas. So how I'm feeling physically, like I'm Shonda Lewis. Just went through the December cohort of the coach training with Clara and Rita and Stephanie and Zulhai, and I mean, yeah. So I mean, I'm excited to share with you what I have going on, but where I am physically, I am tense, but I feel like it's a good tension. Like, but that's how I felt today. I felt tense. And I've been in a number of calls where it's like, I needed that. I needed that tension, that pressure, like that pop off, because to push for better. And it's kind of where I am with the coaching piece. I launched an LLC, or incorporated as an LLC in December. So Stone and Grace LLC.
Oh.
So instead of Shonda Lewis Consulting, Shonda means stone, God's grace. So I figure I'll roll with that. And it kind of fits like with this idea of what I'm trying to do. It's, how do you ground people and give them, the finesse, the skill set to connect and continuously improve and grow. So planning to do that in 3 ways: through coaching, consulting, and facilitation work and facilitation training. And with the coaching piece is the piece that I'm really trying to, that's giving me a little bit more. It's not something the individual coaching is something I'm more new to. Well, I've coached, right? But like, not really intentionally on a specific individual through a process, right? So I'm really thinking about this idea of group coaching and consulting and being able to zoom in on people who may need some additional support through coaching. So win that I had recently, I mentioned in the group that I was in the, decided to quit my job, but just trying to figure out the best way to do that and go full time as an entrepreneur. And one of the biggest things that, I feel like I want to have in order to make that that jump or that leap, or to, to say, like, to figure out what, the relationship between myself and my current full-time employer would be, is just securing some contracts and securing some engagements, that shows me that I'm on a path to making my salary or more by the end of the year. So I have one decent sized contract in negotiation, more on the consulting piece, and I got a referral for a coaching engagement, for an individual, and so we'll see where that, if that gets secured. But those are two really cool things that have happened this week that I think are very promising, and then also just this idea that I'm being more explicit about my vision and what I have going on, and people are super receptive to it, and that just tells me that I need to have faith and trust in what I'm doing, and where I'm being, what my intuition is telling me, where I'm guiding, where my inner core is guiding me, and that it'll all work out when I have that faith and that commitment to make it happen. Yeah,
Awesome.
I think that's it.
I just want to reflect back. You said I'm being more explicit on my vision, having faith and commitment, and the fact that you're sharing with people like what you're doing and people being receptive. And I can't stress enough, I can't applaud enough listening to your intuition. Listening to your intuition pays, like pays dividends. Yeah, and there's so many opportunities out there when you're willing to share, genuinely, authentically, humbly, what you stand for, what you want to do. Yeah, I'm excited for you. I love Stone and Grace. Oh my God.
You like?
I'm gonna get all kinds of visuals.
I thought people would thought it was corny. Like, what the hell does that mean? But every time I say it, people are like, I really like that. I love that. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's an example of going with your intuition just paying off, and yeah. One other thing that was just like really crazy to me. I'm doing we're going to launch so I'm in the Positive Intelligence coach program. And of course I'm like, I'll be, pod lead or whatever. So I named the pod that I'm a part of Dream Big! And I randomly won a book. I was in a webinar with Bakari Sells was talking, and one of the, they did a raffle of all the attendees, and you get a signed copy of Bakari's book. And so I won one of the raffles. They chose my name. And they're like, yeah, so they send me this book, and I'm like, I got it yesterday, and I open up the book, and I'm like, where's, so he's supposed to sign it, so I open it, I see where he signs, and you know what he signed? He signed it, Dream Big! And then Bakari Sellers. I was like, I am shooketh. Like, what is going on?
If that is not a sign, I don't know what is.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, I'm excited for you, Shonda. I mean, yeah, there's just so much out there.
Well, you got an intuition too. I like hearing about dreams that you have that involve me. And
yeah, so like
I saw J-Lo performing today, and I was just like, am I gonna be in her house? Like, what's gonna happen?
So I told the group I had a dream where that J-Lo was my front door neighbor, and that Shonda was at her house, and Shonda worked for J-Lo. And I had to tell her right away. I was like, listen, we're gonna be rolling with J-Lo, okay? She's gonna be my bestie.
I saw J-Lo on that stage today. I said, J-Lo, we're gonna be together soon. Oh, yes.
I don't know. I felt like that was a premonition of things to come.
No, but thank you, man. Thank you, Clara. Like, I mean, you're a big part of like this, you know, it's like the pressure, right? Like the good pressure to you know, to realize my potential. You know, I'm appreciative of all those people who are that for me. And so yeah, thank you.
I'm just mirroring back what I see. That's all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here, and inspiring us. Debbie, would you like to share with us? So Debbie, let me introduce Debbie is going to be taking the certification in May. But I wanted to invite her so she can get a feel of the vibe and what we're all about. Debbie, would you like to share with us a little bit
Yes.
about yourself?
Yes, I'll see what I'll do going down these points that I need to answer. But yes, my name is Debbie, and I'm actually located in Massachusetts, Malden to be exact. And I'm listening to all of you. It's awesome to be here actually, and just listening to everyone. That's why I wanted to go last. Hear everybody else first. But I am inspired by everyone. And of course, I have not really completed this program as yet with Clara. I had completed a coaching program maybe about 2 years ago, but to me, it wasn't that successful. Um, I felt like I didn't get a lot out of it. But this group already, you can tell there is a bonding there, and there's so much that I can learn from each of you. And the type of coaching that I'm looking to be engaged in, I am actually a counselor right now, therapy background. I do work at an educational institution, and I'm an academic counselor, but I'm also the crisis support counselor. And these days, I'm doing more mental health than anything else. So I'm actually more of a mental health counselor, and that's my background. And I do coaching. I mean, that's my job, basically. And I love the target population that I work with, college age students. And from career counseling to personal counseling, that's what I do on a daily basis. So as far as I'm concerned, um, I would like to move forward, develop more of the coaching skills, and see how that could be merged with with counseling. I actually had a dream. One of my dreams is actually to have my own private practice. But honestly, I prefer the coaching part now. You know, throughout the years, I realize prefer the coaching part. I am a counselor. That's innately who I am. So I know that's not going to go away. But with this step in the right direction and joining you guys and joining this group and going through that program in May, I'll see what direction that's going to lead me into and how to define it and how to, you know, sort of create it into this chaotic vision that I have in my head, to see what direction I could go with it. And eventually, to be honest, I really want to be on my own. I'm really tired of working for people. I am a very creative person, and I just feel like sometimes, this is just going to somebody else. I need to work it for me. And the population, honestly, I'd love to work with. I love working with the college age students, but I do have a passion for women. And somebody mentioned, people of color. And yes, I'm a person of color, and I understand the certain struggles. So I feel like I can relate in that sense. But women in general, it doesn't matter, of all races. But I do have a passion for women too, and self-care. And maybe that's the reason for people of color. We give out so much and we forget to take care of ourselves at times. So I wanted to look into that piece along with, I do workshops. So I want to include workshops. Right now I do so many stress workshops, and I'm actually doing a lot on, racial injustice, social injustice, incorporate all of that and the stress that's related to, racial and social injustice that people of color face on a daily basis, because there's added stress with that, and just, the self-care that goes along with that. So
Wonderful, Debbie. You're in good hands.
I am. Sounds good.
And you're coming, from, Charmaine. So, she's
Yes,
also
referred to.
another amazing resource.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, if you can dream it, you can live it. And, it might not be easy,
No.
but it's doable, and I speak from experience, from personal experience, that if that is what you want, to be on your own, you said it plain and clear. You're like, my dream is to have my private
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah, you're recording, so it's there. That's evidence.
There it is. You said it on Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2021.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, and already with all your background and, you being so clear and concise around what you want to do, I absolutely, I don't know, I just have this like unwavering belief in all that you guys want to do. So, it's so doable. I'm
Awesome.
really excited to have you here,
Thank you.
Debbie.
Nice to meet all of you, by the way.
Yeah, Debbie, have you had a win recently that you want to share with us?
My
Something
God, this
positive that's happened to
inauguration
you?
was a
Huh?
win for me. The inauguration was a win for me, but but anyways, I think Shonda was speaking a while ago about it. I felt that joy. But I was sort of thinking, Kamala for the win, yes. I was sort of thinking as everyone was speaking, and then I was thinking personally what that one win would be for me. My days are sort of busy, and then working remotely, which I'm pretty sure all of you're experiencing all of that too. That's just gone a little bit remarkably busy in a sense, and so there are certain things I had on my list to get done, and then I realized today that I actually had gotten quite a few things done until today, up until today. So I was actually proud of myself. I consider myself to be an organized person, I think, but sometimes just life just get out of hand sometimes, and certain things are just thrown to the side. So it was a win for me.
Yes, be proud, be proud. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So before I share the bit of content that I want to share with you today, I want to share one of my wins this week as well. So, the focus, so I live in Raynham, just so you guys know where I am, you ladies know where I am physically. And the kind of coaching that I do mostly is executive leadership coaching. In my private practice, mostly for women of color. And I also do a lot of facilitation and some consulting for different programs. But this week, so two things that I'm really excited about. So I get really excited about looking for ways to support all my coaches and to take this work further. So I'm organizing on my website like a way for all of you to create your own profiles on there and to have access to more resources and like all of the different things that we mentioned. There'll be like a place where like all of that stuff is sitting, books, articles, all of our recordings, all of that. So I'm really excited about the creation of that and like how that's all gonna be like automated and out of my hands. I get really excited about stuff like that. And then the second thing is that I've been thinking about doing more advising. I get really excited about like advising on creating programs that support a lot of people. So recently there was this like really big commitment from a foundation to support businesses of color business owners. And then I got contacted to be an advisor to like where this money is going and how it's going to be distributed. So I'm really excited about that. Like I just, lately I haven't really had to like really look for anything. It's like all just kind of landing on my lap. And so one of the challenges for me at this point in my career is like saying no to stuff. And that's why I keep just stressing the fact that there is just so much out there. And that like when you dare to believe in yourself and be true and authentic and like share like what you stand for and what you don't, it's very clear like for opportunities to find you. So I don't say that just to like, you know, just give you guys confidence. I say it because I'm living it, you know, after doing this work for so long. So it's like the best thing we can do. You know, I just love when all of you guys are, you know, like, this is what I care about. This is who I want to work with. This is, you know, like the more specific you can be, the more focused you can be and genuine about what you care about, the quicker that those opportunities that really fit you are going to land. So I can't stress that enough. And that is, it's been a huge win for me because it's been a long time coming. It hasn't been always forever that I haven't had to pitch and hustle. But there comes a time when it's like you feel so secure about what you bring to the table that the opportunities that people start looking for you as an asset. So it's like always let's always remember to be a resource and not a predator. So I just wanted to share that. Just really grateful because you guys know I am about 3.5 weeks away from giving birth to a baby boy, and I feel extremely blessed because I have a girl and a boy, so here I am. So with that, I just want to share. I want to share with all of you the circle of personal perspective, with the intention, right, of having you draw it out for yourself very quickly, and then maybe selecting one area that you say, you know what, like this is one area that I want to work on, and these are maybe 1 to 3 things that I want to see happen in this area this year. And then with that, like if you would like to share with us 1 or 3 of those goals or those things that you want to see happen in the chat, and like we can leave with like, this is one action that I'm committing to taking to make that happen. So with that, let me share my screen with all of you so you can see. I'm going to show you the wheel. Give me 1 second. I had it pulled up. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. Share my screen. So this is one of the tools that we use in the coaching certification, right? Oh, excuse me. Let's put this back. Just wanted to minimize it a little bit. Here we go. So you want to have a pen and paper with you. And make sure you put today's date on the top of the paper so that when you're looking at this a few months from now, you know exactly what time was this. So inauguration day, you can just write that, or January 20th, 2021. And you want to draw this out for yourself. Right, draw out these 6 areas, just like it is on the screen. And what you want to do after you draw this out for yourself is to give yourself a rating of how you're feeling on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being I am completely dissatisfied with this area of my life, And 10 being, I am thoroughly satisfied with this area of my life. Like I am so extremely blessed in this area. So, and then to write, just write in the numbers for professional, financial, your wellness, your spirituality, emotional, and relationships. And one thing I want to say is like for relationships, you can subdivide that if you like in between, relationship with friends and family, relationship with a significant other. If there is no significant other and you just want to say relationship with self, that's fine too. You can rename the categories if you like. Professional may also include educational. So if you want a professional / education / business, you can do that as well. Feel free to make this your own. And then you're scaling it, you're putting in a 0 to 10. And we don't want to think about this for too long. We just kind of want to write in, how do we feel? And I'm going to do it with you. And so if you are all set with like writing down your numbers, what I would like you to do is to circle one area. It doesn't have to be the lowest number, but when you look at it, you're saying, what is one of these areas that I want to improve?
Farah, can you talk a little bit about the professional again for me, please?
Yeah, so professional, it's your contribution to the world that you get paid for. So your work, it could also mean like, your development in your profession. So if not just work, but also if you're taking a course, how do you feel about that area of your life right now? 10 being thoroughly satisfied and 0 being completely unsatisfied. Is that clear, Debbie?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So then what you want to do once you have your numbers down is select one area. And then write in like, if you were to increase this area by a point or 2, like what are some things that you would see happen in this area? For example, I'll tell you for me, like the area that I'm choosing is wellness. And this is kind of trivial, but what wellness would look like for me is like having my cleaning people come every single week to my house. Like right now they come bi-weekly. When the baby comes, they'll be coming weekly. So a weekly cleaning service, that makes me feel well. A meal service, to have my food delivered. So whatever, like, 1, 2, 3 things that you're like, if this area was to go up by a point or 2, these are the things that would need to happen. Like making sure I keep my appointments with my therapist. Boom. Wellness. So, once you have those down, and then, you know, for the sake of time, we're just gonna do one area now, but you can take this and, you know, do it for all the areas that you like, as a way to kind of take this as a, like, raw data to create your goals or to add to your goals for the year. And then out of those three, like, if there's something that you wish to share with us, like I better, you know, like, put this out in the air because I might avoid this. You know, you can either, you know, I'm gonna give you a chance to either share that, you know, voicing it, or you can put it in the chat. So I will. But does anyone have any questions or feel stuck with this exercise at all in any way? No? Okay.
So we
I
can
do.
voice it, you said?
Yep, you can voice it or you can put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. I can go. I circle professional.
Mhm.
It was, I rated it a 6. I guess I mean, the lowest I rated anything was a 6, which is really is higher than, you know, in a better. I feel like I look at it and I the circle and I think I'm in a better place than I was when I did this exercise through the training. So I'm like, wow, that's progress. And then so with professional, I mean, the goal that I will mention is like right there at my fingertips. Like literally, I've said to myself, the end of this week is launching my website. So I'm throwing it out there to this group because it's another way to hold me accountable. So y'all need to check for stoneandgrace.com come Friday evening or whatever to see if it's launched. And if not, you know, hit me up and be like, what's going on, Shonda? So I can make sure on Saturday that I get it up and running.
Launch that website. So you know the phrase that I love, Shauna, is launch and learn.
Okay, yeah. That's what I need to do. Like, need to stop thinking that perfection is what you need in order to just go, you know, just do it. So you can always go in and edit, you know.
Yeah.
Can always go in and edit.
Yeah, launch your website. Okay, got you. Is that what it's gonna be called? stoneandgrace.com?
Yeah, I got it. I got the handle. It was available. The domain was available. Yeah. Stone and, yes, and spelled out AND Grace.com.
I just get such like strong visuals when you say Stone and Grace. Just like you throw a stone, but then you're like, come here, come. Let me make you feel better because you needed that. I need to throw that stone at you.
Well, it's like first they're sour, then they're sweet, you know, like type of thing. I think of it as that sometimes you need that like resoluteness, like that grounding, that like I'm you know, or like that commitment, right? In order to, you know, get to a better place, like better connect, and you know, so I don't know, I'll play around with it, think about how I market, but
I mean, I'm sure like your story, you know, the story that you have behind it is yours, of course, but this is me reflecting my story on you. when I was a kid. So one of the things that we did in Dominican Republic is like we would fight with kids in the neighborhood. And one way that we would fight is we would throw stones at each other.
okay,
Like little
okay.
stones. And then it was like a war. like, but then we would be friends somehow, like, but then we would end up like cooking together in the middle of the road, or like we're doing these things we used to call cocinaos, where we like, and I'm like, as you're saying Stone and Grace, it would just bring me back to that. Like, how did we go from throwing stones at each other to cooking together? Like,
Uh,
how did that happen?
I like that. I mean, I hope other people hear that and, have their kind of, the imagery in their head, their stories and their experiences that they can attach to that are similar to that, because, that's the trust, the love, the relationship building, but the realness, like the ability to be in conflict or and be combative, but still
Together.
love, still respect. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Like a good question would be like, what's your Stone and Grace story?
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Don't invoice me for that. Can I?
No, I will not invoice you for that. You're good. You're protected in the circle. Anyone would like to share next? Share their goal? Their one goal that they want to be held accountable. They want to just, put into the air, into the bubble of grace and manifestation that we have here.
I can go next.
Okay, Sulai.
So the one area that I think is definitely growing is my finances, and I put for my finances a 5, and only because I've been doing so good at saving lately, I decided like to put money every week when I get money, I put a percentage aside that I can spend, and a percentage aside to save, because I live in the Dominican Republic. I moved here with my 2 sons. I'm a single mom, and I want to buy a house. That's my next step. And so I noticed that I get really good money, but I don't know where it goes. It's such a struggle. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I was able to see where the money was going, because I was mostly giving it away. When you live in a poverty country like I live in now, it's hard to sit back when people are in need, and constantly giving. So I set aside an amount to give each month so that I can contribute to people when they need it, so that I won't suffer and my finances won't suffer. And that has been working very well. But my family came to visit, and I threw my budget out the roof. When I went to check, it's a mess. I'm like, what the heck? I spent $1,000 already. So I definitely need to work on my finances, my budgeting, and stay focused on it and not get emotional. I feel like I get emotional. I'm like, oh, my sisters are here, my cousins, I'm going to take them here and take them there. And I start taking money out without realizing how much money am I taking out. So I definitely, I need accountability because, yeah, I need to keep checking on myself and be like, what are you doing with your money? So like, yeah.
So I love that you said you're like you setting out an amount to give, because that's obviously very important to you.
Yeah.
Have you, and there's this really good book that I read that really just like revolutionized my mind around money, called The Richest Man in Babylon.
Oh, I've heard about this book. You're like the third person that tells me about it.
It's on YouTube, and it's like it's an audio. It's free. And it's that same concept. Like it's like 1/3 for for your expenses, 1/3 for savings, like 1 part for giving, and another for investment. Yeah, because that's really important. It's not just like, oh, don't give, because that's obviously part of and money needs to flow. But yeah, as you were talking, I just thought of that book.
Yeah, I wrote it down because you're like the third person that talked to me about that book. Be a sign.
3rd time's a charm.
Yes, I agree. I feel like there's so much going on now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can just listen to it while you're doing stuff around the house. It's awesome.
Yes, true.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Anyone else like to share theirs or put their goal in the chat? Stephanie?
Hello. I think for me, something that I which is really interesting, Clara, because you're gonna laugh about this. Of something that I scored really low on for myself was wellness, which is interesting because I'm doing this coaching class. I'm also, Shonda, doing the positive intelligence course. Um, I also have a therapist and a psychiatrist.
The judge is
Oh,
back.
and a hypnotherapist and a nutritionist. So that's like a lot of people. But no, I think that like I think it goes back to the same cycle for me of like I get very excited about work and these passion projects and all these other stuff that I want to do. And I forget, and this is really where it happens. I forget to just take time for me. Like in the most selfish way, not to improve my mental health and do PQ reps, not to like journal my emotions, not to figure out my stuff from work, but to legit just sit and be still. With no one there to like say anything, to have that like unaccounted, unproductive in the sense of like there's no task that I'm giving. I think that's what I'm missing. Because I feel like I'm doing all this self-exploration, which is great. I'm doing a lot of exploration with my teams, which is great. But I'm missing that just like where I'm one and whole in myself. And so I think that that'll just help me also be a better partner, a better work person. Because it's like the dynamic of like I'm always energized in something that's external, a project, a deadline, something. So with that being said, I think a goal for myself is truly committing. Like I think that what I'm going to do now, because I'm realizing I can't do it in the afternoon, is waking up an hour early every single day, to legit just sit in my kitchen and have breakfast. Like by myself. No one talk to me. I think that'll just make the positive intelligence course really sink in because I'm not just going through the motions. And the reason why I wanted to share is because like I hear all you guys amazing women and all the stuff you're doing. And I'm wondering, like, do you guys feel like this? Like, do you guys ever feel like I'm missing that one time? I mean, maybe that's just me being lazy, but I feel like I missed that one time to just be still, like not process, not plan, not recap my day, not heal, just be, and that be enough. So yeah, I think that's what I need to start doing. So my goal is to schedule out time to legit just be by myself in my happy little place, doing nothing but something that feels good to me, whether that be a face mask, whether that be breakfast, whether that be coffee, a no judgment 1 hour a day, every day. So that's
I got books, right? I got books recommending.
Oh, please give it to me. I need to. I love it. I've read every book you suggested.
Have you heard of the book called Essentialism?
No.
So in the book Essentialism, it talks about this practice of doing 10 minutes of nothing a day. So it's like you just stare up at the ceiling or like just look out the window, like just get your hands, like 10 minutes a day of nothing, like of what seems like nothing.
Yeah.
But it's really not nothing, because it like your brain is truly like integrating things when you're doing nothing. But anyway, essentialism.
I will look that up because yeah, I feel like that's what I'm missing. I feel like I'm running from one thing to the next, and they're all important and they're all major, right? Therapy, work, positive, like all of this is big to me, and I want it to be, but like, where's just me?
Spaciousness is what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my goal.
Cool.
A book I just read, it just finished. It's called The Big Leap. By this guy, named Gay Hendricks. He's a coach and psychologist, therapist, and he talks about time, right? He talks about a lot of things, right? Talks about this idea of the zone of excellence, and and how we allow ourselves to get there, and what hold the little limiting beliefs or things that hold us back. But he also talks about time and this idea of like, you know, Newtonian time versus Einsteinian time. So like Isaac Newton, you know, time is finite, you know, like it's what we operate in. I got to get to this. I got to do this, you know, like there's the pressures and like there's not enough time and you're time bound versus like, you know, Einstein time, which is, you know, this idea that like time comes, we are the producers, we generate time. So just even thinking that way, like that's like, that's something that's I think it's different, right? Like probably why you feel pressure. It's like, I don't have the time. I need to create the space for myself, is because you're pushing against like status quo, right? Like all the environments we operate in is, you know, it's this pressure, this idea that time is finite, that time ends, and that we have to just like rush to get time and to take advantage of time and to be on time. And but when it's like when you switch, even though it's tough, when you switch that mindset and say, time comes from me, I generate time. I think it's a powerful thing. So as you are taking your 10 minutes a day, you can also think about that. And yeah, the book is great. I recommend it to everyone, the Big Leap.
No, just even saying that, like, I am the source of time, like that feels revolutionary. So, and that's a good point. That's so true. Like, I decide what I do with it, right? When I wake up, I mean, I take my 20 minutes to have breakfast or not, and I choose that. That's very true. Like, is the office going to fall apart from me coming in 20 minutes late? Probably not, you know, or let's hope not. Let's not speak that into existence over here. But that's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing that. I'm definitely going to read that too.
What Shonda said.
I'm gonna read all your books too, though. I mean, and the 10 minutes a day. Like, I think that is I think about it too. I'm like, why am I so stressed? And when I just take the time to do my makeup, it's like, that's my time. I'm taking that time. And you know what? I'm doing it because I'm so used to it, or it brings me joy and allows me to be creative. To tap into my zone of excellence, like to figure out different ways to be creative. And like my biggest revelations come during those moments, right? Like, or, you know, I solve what I feel like are like insurmountable problems, like during those moments. So how do you think about that? I think we place so much emphasis on this idea of meditation, but how do we like just define, expand the definition of meditation and, allow ourselves those moments in the like to have the shower and to have the shower uninterrupted,
Yeah. I am the source of time. And what he says more of like spending more of your time in your zone of genius.
Yeah.
Which like requires for us to completely switch our minds. Yep. Rita, Amanda, anyone else would like to share?
Sure, I can share because I'm kind of in the same vein, or at least very similar parallel. I put my area that I want to work on is emotional, which is not usually my jam. Like I don't do emotions and dealing with them with myself. I help other people with that, which I realize is sort of like the cobbler in the shoes, right? But I'm realizing, especially over the last couple of weeks when I was in a bit of a funk, that some of the things that were helping were to clarify those boundaries between work and home. And in starting my morning, I had been doing good, kind of what you're saying, Stephanie, like getting up an hour early, but I wasn't spending it mindfully. It was like I'd be scrolling through Facebook on my phone, or I'd be, unloading the dishwasher, something. It wasn't something that I had some intentions around. So I want to be able to think through what a morning routine looks like with an energetic dog and a couple of little kids and, all that kind of stuff. But how can I find some positivity and set my intentions in the morning, so it sets me up in a positive attitude for the day. So those are some things that I'm looking for. And then just in the vein of books, I just read this book. It's called She Profits, and it's pretty badly written. Like, she definitely did not employ an editor. It's completely as you would speak. It's on the page. It's the fastest read ever. But
You
she
did it perfect, Amanda. No, I'm kidding.
But the profit that she talks about is financial profit, emotional profit, and mental profit. So making sure at the end of the day that you are thinking in all of those realms and not just the financial. And that helped me to switch just in the last week or so from like that rat race run of like, I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, to I'm doing this because it feels good. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. You know, it's probably a very much less elegant way of writing than The Big Leap sounds like, but it sounds like some of the same ideas behind that of how can you look at your time differently? How can you carve, you know, you may not have extensive amount of time, but how can you make the most of the time that you do have? So that's what I'm putting out there in the world is I'm going to be more mindful in my mornings, trying to set my day up for positivity, and I'm going to be better about turning off my computer and my phone and having family time when it's time for family and not for work.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. I know I can really resonate with that, with the morning routine. It's so important.
And it's so hard when you're not the only one around, right? Like, I get out of bed and the dog immediately follows me out of bed, and then she wants to play, and then like, how do I find that time? So that's what I'm challenging myself with.
I'm sure you're gonna figure it out.
Yep, everything's figure outable.
Everything is figure outable. That's true. Thank you, Amanda. Rita?
So the category I'm struggling the most with is financial, and I'm looking at this new year in terms of recovery from last year because the virus decimated our business, and our business is focused on cultural tourism. All of our magazines, our theater magazines, our theater and travel club, everything's either frozen for the next several months or permanently frozen. We chose to bring back Art New England now, but I'm volunteering to bring that back. So, which is my labor of love, and I know it's the right thing to do. So, but this year is reestablishing my relationship with money and fear of not having what I want to have in this moment, and just, I mean, last year just completely turned everything upside down for so many people, and we've had to rethink financial security and what does that mean, and I get great joy out of my magazine, but it's not bringing me any income in this moment. So it forces you to think outside of your box and just to rewrite everything. So it's a new beginning, and spiritually and emotionally, I mean, I understand that, but then I have my night moments and my night terrors where it's like, oh God, things just aren't happening fast enough, and you get nervous. So my goals are to keep creating this new path forward and confront those fears as they come and manage them as best I can. And I really want to launch this practice. I really believe in it. It feels good, and the little things that I do all the time, every day, in my own way to move it forward, they all feel right. As my as working on the magazine does. So I'm hoping that it will all lead to a balance between these two things, and that it will bring back a new financial recovery or a new stability. But this is just like so many people are going through this very thing. Last year just upended us all in that way. So I feel happy about the other categories, and although I really miss my therapist and she chose a terrible time to retire 2 years ago, I think that all therapists should have come out of retirement this past year. But other than that, so financial stuff is really where, I've taken my leap of faith, but they say leap and the net will appear. So looking for the net.
Rita, I put a mantra in the chat for you.
I love it. Yeah,
You'd be
I love.
surprised.
Sorry.
I said you'd be surprised
Yeah.
when you're
Thank you for
open.
that. I love. Oh yes, I am very open. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That leaves us with Debbie. Debbie, would you like to share one of your goals, or one of the things that you're putting out into the universe?
Sure. Okay. I don't remember the name of the person who just spoke, but she talked about, with COVID, and of course, it's a common thing. Everybody's lives was just completely upended. And for me, as a therapist, mental health counselor, self-care has always been very, very important. I was always first as far as I'm concerned. Love my clients, but I'm always first because I just felt like if I didn't put myself first, then I couldn't be of any use to them. One of the things, I tried to take care of myself as much as possible. And one of the ways I used to do that was a lot of physical activities. Zumba. I love to do the massage at least once a month. Different things like that. But all the physical activities just through the door when COVID went. So I had to I had to be creative and try to do some things differently, which really wasn't working at all. I just went back to Zumba last week. I tried it once, twice, but to just do it via Zoom was just not my thing. And I just couldn't get into it. So the wellness part for me, I was losing track of that. So that was really one of the low scores for me. And I want to get back into being creative. Finding creative ways in this winter and in this remote era. Going outdoors during the summer was great. I walked a lot during the summer, but now it's winter, it's really kind of hard. So I'm going back to Zumba and trying to get that done via Zoom, which I hate, but I have to do something. And I'm not sure, I haven't thought of what else to do. Yes, walk in place, different things like that in the home, but trying to be creative during the remote time. And the other thing that goes along, and it could go in both places, relationships and wellness. Wonderful. Thank you, Stephanie. So it could go in both places, relationships and wellness. And for me, that's also another low score. I always say that this COVID, if you're an introvert, you're like, thank God, this is a place I've always wanted to be. I don't have to meet with people. I don't have to be around people. Extroverts, it's like it's the end of the world for you. And I'm typically more of an introvert. So honestly, it's not a big deal, to be honest, working remotely. It was hard to adjust because it was sudden and of course the scariness, but I'm perfectly fine working remotely, to be honest. I really don't necessarily have to be around people to be happy. But the flip side of that, where it gets to the extreme, is that I have to balance myself out because, you need people because we are social beings. And you can get so caught up in your own self sometimes that you forget people. And so I moved here some time ago, of course, and most of my friends are actually my good friends. They're not really in this state. There's somewhere else. And so for me, another goal was developing meaningful friendships. I do have friends and acquaintances, but those friends that knew you from way back when, they're not here. They're somewhere else. And so I think that would be a goal of mine, and that would kind of be wellness and relationship too, to build those sort of maybe one or two. You can't have a whole bunch of those folks, but one or two locally.
So more physical activity and building more friendships locally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see some folks writing in the chat. So thank you for those recommendations. I'm going to look at those.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Debbie.
No
Thank
problem.
you, Debbie. Thank you. Everyone got a chance to go, right? Yes? Yes? Okay, awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I already shared with y'all my wellness pursuits and having my weekly cleaning folks come by and my meal delivery that I'm putting in place. Yeah, and my regular appointments with my amazing therapist, which I love. And to close us off, right? So I was looking up like what is the definition of inauguration, right? And so inauguration, right, is really a ceremony that formally marks the start of something new. It can refer to a formal ceremony, such as one that's marking the start of a new term in office or the opening of something new. But it can be used more broadly to describe something less formal. And so I would like to invite you all to think of this day as an inauguration for new things for yourself, to give yourself permission to start something new, to even to start something old in a new way. And for me, it is always such an honor to hold this space for all of you and for myself as well. As I am entering a new phase of inauguration and slowing down, as I'm giving birth to my baby boy. And I really encourage all of you to connect with each other and connect with folks, because the most important things that we want to do for ourselves sometimes become the hardest things, because sometimes we want to do them in isolation. And I really want to encourage you to just get away from that and be vulnerable and open to reaching, for a hand, so someone can, hold you in doing what you want to do and what you need to do. And let this be a inauguration of doing the things that you want to do in a new way, whatever small change that is for you. And so with that, I want to say thank you so much for showing up as your true self. I am, if you need something from me, you can always reach out to me. And my assistant, she's always checking my emails. So, if I don't respond directly, she will respond to you. If you have anything going on that you want us to share, anything that you want support with, make sure to let me know, and let my assistant Laura know. What else? I'll be back from maternity leave in May. But I am a recovering workaholic, y'all. So, I'm gonna be on that phone and email. So, I love hearing success stories. I love hearing what you guys are all up to. It brings me great joy. And so you will still be hearing from me because we have a whole thing planned between now and when I come back. Because, you know, who would I be if I didn't do that? So, yeah, it's just such an honor and a pleasure to be with all of you, especially on this historical day. You know, I'm always just so filled with joy every time I end these calls. So I'm gonna miss y'all, but until May, okay?
I do
We'll
have
be
a quick
together
question.
again. Someone said something?
Yes, it's Debbie. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I know you're recording. Is there any way to get all those emails that were in the chat? I would love to
Oh,
have.
yes. I can send the send the chat as well when I'll send the recordings.
Oh, okay.
I'll send the recording of this call and I will also send the transcript of the chat.
Okay.
So you can,
Stephanie says she wants to work out with me and I'm going to take her up on that.
yeah. So I'm gonna make.
Please do, Debbie, because I keep on scheduling workouts for myself, and because I'm doing them by myself, I'm like, who's gonna know? You know?
Okay, all right. We gotta do something. We gotta do something.
Yeah, so I'll send the transcript of the chat. Okay, ladies?
But Clara, thank you so much for everything and happy birth plan. I hope everything goes well, and we will be here when you return to support you and darle la bienvenida, welcome, sorry, welcome a whole new life into our family, our coaching family. So
Yes.
good
He's
luck,
already a little coach, you know.
healthy energies all to you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and I will talk to y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Birth announcement.
Huh?
Yes, make sure you send her your birth announcement.
Yeah, send us your birth. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes,
Good.
And reach out if you need anything
Thank you.
at all. I know you've got a good team, but reach out.
yes, do.
Thank you. Yes, you know, I have a team.
Let's go, baby Alexanders, right? Baby boy on the way.
Good night.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.